All right, everybody, welcome. We're so glad you're here today. My name is Melissa Depper, and I'll be your host today. This year, welcome to our virtual picture book party. This year, we are offering book parties a couple of times a month, usually one with titles for older kids, teens, and adults, and a separate one like today for picture books. You can always sign up for these and look for these in the virtual events tab of arapahoelibraries.org. Today we have 5 different presenters from our Child and Family Library Services Department and our Storytime Specialist team, and they're going to talk about 5 books each. They each have 1 minute to talk about their books, and if a book catches your eye or your ear, you don't need to write anything down. We'll be sending out a list of books afterwards. We are recording this session so folks can watch it later. As a reminder, the recording will just show our slides and our panelists. If you have any questions, either tech support things or questions or comments about the books as you hear about them, please feel free to put them in the chat, and one of us will respond to you as soon as we can during the program. What you'll see is a slide for each book, and then a time reminder slide to help our presenters know when it's time to wrap up their book talks. We will try hard to stay on track, even though we have a lot to say about all of these books. I am going to start by having our presenters introduce themselves. And please say your name and your position at the library. And Elizabeth, please get us started.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth and I'm a Storytime Specialist.
Hi everybody, I'm Michelle and I'm also a Storytime Specialist.
Hello and namaste. My name is Madhavi and I'm a Storytime Specialist.
Hello. Hola, soy Karina and I'm a Storytime Specialist.
Hi, I'm Erin and I'm the Child and Family Library Services Lead.
We also have Georgia with us, who is helping us with the chat. And again, I'm Melissa. I am the supervisor of the Storytime team. So thanks, everybody. Go ahead and make sure you're muted now. And we will, until it's your time to share your first book, and I will go ahead and have Elizabeth get us started.
If part of your family's routine is to read books before going to sleep, I would highly suggest putting this one in your pile. In My Bed, Enchanting Ways to Fall Asleep Around the World, author Rebecca Bond uses rhymes to guide us on a trip around the world, showcasing different ways children sleep. But don't let yourself get too sleepy before reading this, because you'll want to spend a lot of time looking at the beautiful hand-stitched art by illustrator Sally Neighbor. You'll visit countries in South America where children sleep in hammocks, comfy and safe off the ground. You'll see children in North Africa snoozing away on cool rooftops. You'll get a glimpse of children in Japan dreaming on futons as a cherry tree blossoms outside. It is a lovely celebration of global similarities and differences, and your children will be lulled to sleep with the comfort of knowing, no matter where we rest our heads, we are more alike than not.
Saffron Ice Cream is written by Rasheen Karia, an artist who was born in Iran but now lives in America, where she teaches drawing at the University of Maryland. She works in oil, acrylic, and sometimes homemade paper when designing her books, and you can see how happy and joyous her illustrations are in Saffron Ice Cream. This tells the story of Rasheen's childhood and coming to America and visiting a brand new American beach with her family. While she's traveling on the subway, Rasheen wonders if the new American beaches will be like the old beaches that she experienced in Iran, and how will they be different? More importantly, will this new beach that she's going to, called Coney Island, serve her favorite treat? This is a wonderful story about homesickness and bravery and making new friends. And yes, it's also about ice cream. I recommend it for ages 5 and up.
Saffron ice cream sounds delicious. Let's now talk about a dessert from India. Did you know you can learn math and counting right in your kitchen with your favorite food? 10 Gulab Jamuns, written by Sandhya Acharya and illustrated by Vanessa Alexander. Adu and Idu are brothers and they are very excited because their friends are coming over for dinner and Mama has cooked delicious Indian food. For dessert, she made 10 Gulab Jamuns, an Indian sweet treat. Playfully, they try one and then one more and then one more. Will the Gulab Jamuns even last till the guests come? Illustrations bring this book to life. My mouth is watering seeing all the yummy food in this page. This book has basic math with simple additions and subtractions. It also models positive parenting and highlights sibling fun. Also included is a recipe to make those gulab jamuns yourself.
Everybody Counts, a counting story from 0 to 7.5 billion. Christine Ross Kitfi is a Norwegian illustrator and author of picture books. She was awarded the Nordic Council's Children and Young People's Literatures Prize. This book is not just a counting book, it's a story to observe each page and discover activities that those characters are doing, to analyze and think. It's a book for children older than 5 years old who are ready to think about a wide range of positive as well as difficult experiences a human being can live, from happy to sad times, from environment to space, from life to death. It is a very diverse and inclusive story. This story has questions, secrets, and answers for explorers. This book definitely shows a different perspective on what children's books can include, and that's one of the reasons reading books from other countries can be so powerful. Colorful illustrations.
The Wanderer by Peter Van Enden. This wordless and surreal picture book by Van den End, a Belgian artist, follows the adventures of a small paper boat as it travels through the ocean, past reefs and between icebergs. You will be drawn into the mysterious story as you meet interesting characters like an angelfish crustacean hybrid with a broadcasting TV perched atop a sunken trove of boats, including a paper one, or exploring Antarctic ice caverns and underwater cities. The black and white drawings are reminiscent of etcher drawings, and I could not help but making up stories with each page. An interesting, unique, a little weird, and a bit haunting of a tale that you will want to explore repeatedly. This book will appeal to early grade school. This is the author's debut picture book, and I look forward to seeing what he dreams up next.
Michelle, are you with us?
I was muted and I apologize, everybody. I had a great transition and everything. Sorry about that, everyone. The story of Dreamers was written by Judy Morales, who is a Mexican illustrator and author. She came to America at the age of 25 with her infant son. And Dreamers is a memoir of their time together. It is a beautiful and lushly illustrated story of love. The love that the two of them have for each other, and also the love that they both learned to have for their local library. According to Morales' note at the end of the book, she first encountered picture books in America, and they helped her and her son both learn to read and write in English. As she says in Dreamers, books became our language, books became our home, books became our lives. We learned to read, to speak, to write, and to make our voices heard. She also credits those books with inspiring her to tell stories of her own. And we are so lucky that she did. In addition to Dreamers, which was a Caldecott Honor book, Judy has also written Viva Frida, Just a Minute, and Rudas. I highly recommend them all.
Migrant. Maxine Trottier is an American-born Canadian who received the Mr. Christie's Book Award and won the Canadian Library Association Book of the Year for Children Award. This story tells about the migrants, their lives connected with seasons. They fly from one country to another to be seasonal laborers. It is a story of a Mennonite girl who lives in Mexico and migrates with her family to work in Canadian farms on harvest seasons. She thinks about and wishes simple things as sleeping on a bed or living just in one place or understand a conversation in that foreign country because she speaks Low German. In the story, all her feelings are represented by animals. It is a very realistic book to understand that lives of migrant workers are difficult ones, and they deserve safe working and living conditions as well as recognition and respect for their honest day's labor. Isabel's Arsenal's simple illustrations make emotions emerge.
Why did a Pulitzer Prize-winning author write a children's book, and why did I love it so much? Islandborn was written because Junot Diaz promised his goddaughters he would write a book for them. I love it for many reasons. I love Lola, the main character, because she's so curious and creative as she takes an imaginary journey back to her birthplace, the island. I love the vibrant immigrant community who guides Lola by graciously supplying pieces of their own memories. Leo Espinosa's gorgeous, colorful illustrations further brighten Diaz's narrative, and we, the readers, are treated to a magical experience. Amidst the magic, we are also asked to think about things like belonging and cultural identity. But the story never gets weighed down by intentional messaging. In fact, Diaz said in an interview, no messages, just the experience of Lola and her world, and maybe the reminder that many of us who hail from faraway places also come from traditions of fighting political monsters. We are brave like that.
Thank You, Myoki by Roxanne Marie Galis and illustrated by Senson Ratanova. I was first drawn to this book by the stunning artwork, but the story is poetic and touching. Myoki is your typical active young child and asks question after question as her grandpa spends the day in the garden. She wants to understand what he is doing as he moves through the different Tai Chi movements, or as he sits still in the quiet. Grandpa starts to guide Myoki through the steps of meditation by inviting her to do things like look closely at the fluffy clouds in the sky. It takes her a while to understand as she keeps asking, when will we meditate? But her patient grandpa keeps guiding her, and soon she begins to understand.
Children may not remember what you teach them, but they remember what you are because they observe and learn. Under My Hijab, written by Hina Khan and illustrated by Alia Jalil, this book has been published by Lee and Low Books and is recommended for ages 4 to 7. This rhyming book introduces an important part of Muslim culture. It celebrates women who wear the hijab and present them as independent, educated, successful, fashionable, and talented individuals. I like this book because it gives an opportunity for conversation with your little one about diversity and a different cultural practice. The little girl observes how the women in her family cover their heads with a scarf when they step out, and how they style their hair at home when they do not wear a scarf. Each one wears it differently, and at home, these women are just like any other woman. Illustrations are beautiful and celebrate diversity.
The Magic Doll. The author Adrienne Jabosa is of Jakoma heritage from the Central African Republic, and she never attended any institution of higher education. This is a universal story, and it is often a case that the truth becomes a myth. Ajoa, a girl, is telling her own life story. She explains the special way in which she was born. It is a story about a huge lab connected with an African belief that it is a great misfortune for a woman to remain childless. Marriage, tradition, faith, innocence, seasons characterized this book. Detail and bright illustration by Elodie Nohen show real daily lives activities at home, as a family, or in the community. Habits, clothes inspired in the Ashanti fabric. Gorgeous illustrations combine collage and prints that are reminiscent of traditional African art.
Little ones are likely to be comforted and captivated by this book set in the world of the first peoples of the Arctic. Soft and warm may not be the first words that come to mind when thinking of this northernmost part of the earth, but they are the perfect words to describe Sweetest Kulu, written by acclaimed Inuit throat singer Selena Kulluk. In it, newborn baby Kulu is given gifts and blessings from the Arctic animals around them. The Arctic hare shows love, the Arctic char gives tenderness, the caribou bestows patience, and the polar bear offers gentleness and respect for all animals. Lastly, the land itself gives a gift. Never be lazy, beloved Kulu, because your land is a place of bright ideas. Alexandria Mianakis illustrations are sweet and comforting and make the experience of reading this book that much more cozy. One of my favorite things about this book is the patterns of repetition are soothingly predictable, and the text itself is quietly empowering.
A Stranger Comes to Town by Maria Christiandorter. This is a bit of a quirky story. Henry, a young boy in a small Icelandic village, sets out on his sled to find adventure and soon finds a polar bear. This polar bear, instead of being fearsome, seems shy and lost. Henry knows that a village is no place for a polar bear, and with the help of his grandpa, decides to find its way back home. I enjoyed the humor in this book. I mean, how does one hide a polar bear from the villagers as you work towards solving this problem? And wow, do polar bears eat a lot? The illustrations are as humorous as the story itself. And along with the humor, there is a subtle message about the real plight of polar bears.
Farmer Falgu Goes to the Market. Written by Chitra Soundar and illustrated by Kanika Nair, this book has been published by Karadi Tales and is recommended for ages 4 to 8. And if you want to learn the impact of a positive attitude in life, it was market day, and Farmer Falgu was all set to go sell his produce. On his way, he discovers that one mishap after another has destroyed his goods. Now, Farmer Falgu is resourceful, creative, and usually finds his way out of any mess. So, what happens in the story? My favorite line from the book is, "I'll go and try my best." This book has an important life lesson: to stay calm and positive when things don't go as planned. The illustrations are colorful and vivid and show a glimpse of rural, rustic India. Other books in the series are Farmer Falgu Goes on a Trip and Farmer Falgu Goes Kite Flying.
Okay, from one market in India to another market in Nepal, Chandra's Magic Light tells the story of family love, modern technology, and a little bit of Nepalese folklore thrown in. This book starts with Chandra and her sister at the market, and they see a man selling a mysterious new lamp that seems to run on no fuel at all. Chandra wants to buy this lamp because the one that lights her family's home is filled with kerosene, which gives off fumes that make her little brother have a very bad and permanent cough. Chandra is now on a mission to procure this lamp for her family, and with her sister Dina's help, they decide to start selling flowers to earn enough money to buy the lamp. This book is published by Barefoot Books, and again, it's a beautiful, very wonderfully informative look at how Nepalese families live.
A Gift for Alma, Market Day in India, written by Meera Sriram and illustrated by Mariona Kabasa. This beautiful, lyrical, and colorful picture book will allow you to explore a street market in Chennai, India, as a young girl searches for the perfect gift for her Amma, grandmother. You will be introduced to new sights, sounds, smells, and words like rickshaw, and colors like saffron and indigo as you experience the hustle and bustle of the market. The writing is rhythmic and the illustrations give you so much to explore that every time I read the book, I notice something new. When you finish this lovely story, the adventure is not over, as the author has included information on all the colors throughout the book, as well as information on different markets throughout the world, and photographs she took of her hometown market.
Ready to go on an adventure that is sure to delight all of your senses? Let's follow a young girl as she explores the old city of Istanbul as it welcomes her with open arms. We will get a whirlwind tour to see the sights such as the Spice Bazaar and Galata Bridge. We'll taste rose candy and pomegranate juice. We'll feel the warm water of a traditional Turkish bath. We'll smell the salty sea and aromas of the food vendors. We'll hear the hustle and bustle, and if we stop to listen, the story and song of the people. In her well-researched book, The Song of the Old City, Anna Pellicoli acts as an expert guide and not only the highlights of Istanbul, but also guides us towards kindness, empathy, and generosity. Turkish illustrator Merve Atlagan art gives the story a sense of timelessness and whimsy. This book is definitely a step in the right direction towards becoming a global citizen.
Let us now hop on a flight and go to Nigeria. Catch That Chicken, written by Nigerian author Atinuke and illustrated by Angela Brooksbank. This book is published by Candlewick Press and is Lami is the best chicken catcher in the whole village. But one day, when she was chasing a chicken, it climbed the huge baobab tree, and Lami followed it, and oops, fell and hurt herself. Ouch. What happens next? Nana Nadia says, quick thinking is more important than quick running. The story focuses on family, friends, and community, with a message about childhood resiliency and adaptability. Illustrations are vibrant and detailed and celebrate Nigerian village life in a compound. B is for Baby and Baby Goes to Market are two more books by the same author-illustrator duo.
Cannonball by Sasha Cotter. It is written by a New Zealand author, winner of the New Zealand Book Awards for Children and Young Adults Award. It is a juvenile fiction for ages from 4 and up. This book reminded me my childhood when I wanted to try and do a cannonball during summer vacations. It was difficult to be brave and do it. It is a funny story of a little person who was asking for tips to do it and finally discovered that he had to listen to his own inner voice, be courageous and do it in his own way, own style. Diversity and inclusion characterize this story. If you have love, your eyes are multicolored. It has a glossary with Maori words to learn. Just Morgan's illustrations are colorful, so hilarious and full of details. Also, children can play and find a friend, an octopus, which is hidden in those pages. So fun.
Hey, where is Harmony? Tells the story of siblings June and Nuna. They arrive to their grandmother's house for supper, only to discover that their grandmother has gone missing. They do discover some mysterious tracks in the house and a door that leads, when they open it, to a mysterious and exciting new kingdom. They meet on their journey goblins, they meet a rabbit, they meet a very hungry whom are very hungry. Good thing they brought a lot of snacks. This book has a wonderful mix of English and Korean words. There's actually a glossary at the end that explains all the things that the animals are saying. It also kind of has the spirit of a Studio Ghibli movie in that kids are thrown into a world that they don't understand and have to figure out how to navigate on their own. It's a debut graphic novel, and yes, we keep this in the graphic novel section. It's not a picture book. Julie Kim is a wonderful, wonderful author illustrator, and I can't wait to see what she writes next.
The Most Amazing Bird by Michael Arvaluk Kusagak and illustrated by Andrew Kwapik. An Inuit girl named Agatha and her grandmother are out walking on a frosty winter morning and see a raven. But Agatha thinks the raven is ugly and dislikes the cawing sound the raven makes too. Her grandmother explains that in the previous winter she took care of the raven, which is why it follows them. But Agatha wishes the raven would just go away. As winter goes on and the raven sticks around, she begins to appreciate the raven. But as spring comes, the raven leaves and new birds arrive. As the seasons change again, the birds all leave, and a lonely, birdless winter might be on the horizon. Will Agatha hear the familiar caw of her raven as winter comes back? The book will take you through the changes of the season in the Arctic and the inclusion of the Inuktitut words for the different birds makes it a fun read aloud for all ages.
Mila and the Elephant tells the story of big sister Mila and her little brother who always wants to go on adventures with her. Mila will only let him come with if he gives her something in return. But after being pulled by a fish upriver by herself, Mila finds herself very far from home and lost in a jungle. Every animal that she meets wants something in return for helping her home. But when Mila gives them that something, they run off without helping at all. It takes a warm-hearted and helpful elephant to save the day and remind Mila that kindness has its very own reward. This book is found in our Colorado Picture Book section at ALD because up until a few years ago, author-illustrator Dalbar Maruk was a practicing pediatrician in Lone Tree.
Author and Denver resident Andrea Wang's childhood memory of picking watercress by the side of the road serves as the inspiration for this impactful picture book, which she describes in an author's note as both an apology and a love letter to her parents. Caldecott Honor illustrator Jason Chin's watercolors are the perfect choice for a tale about recollection and memory. In the story, a young girl feels embarrassed when her family stops by the side of an Ohio road to pick watercress. She wants her food to come from the grocery store. She feels embarrassed that her parents bring home furniture that others have thrown out and that she wears hand-me-down clothes. There is a magical moment that can really only happen in picture books when an Ohio cornfield merges into the parents' memory of their home in China. In that instant, there is a greater understanding and appreciation of her parents' experience. As a reader, we share in both the prickle of her shame and the power of her newfound knowledge. And if you'd like more biographical information, make sure you read the author's note in the back. It's truly fascinating.
Where are you from? Yamile Sayed Mendez is an Argentinian writer and a Pura Prix gold medal winning author. This story tells about the conversation between a girl and her grandfather about heritage, about roots, about who those human beings are, that they were in dreams of their ancestors and they are ancestors of the future generations. This tale describes not only the extensive geography of Argentina, but also about its history. It is about being humans with wise decisions and errors, also The most important significance is that the existence of each human being is the result of love and the love of family and the love of their predecessors. Simple and colorful illustrations by a South Korean artist, Jamie Kim, have implicit and explicit messages, traditions, and habits which reinforce the meaning and message of the story. This book is also in Spanish language.
Let's now talk about a girl from Korea who moved to America. The Name Jar, written and illustrated by Yeng Shuk Shui and published by Random House Children's Books. Recommended for 3 to 7-year-olds, this is a story of a girl who immigrated from Korea to America. New country, new home, new school, new friends, and a new name. Does she change her name so that her friends at school will be able to say it easily? Or does she keep her original name? Eun-hye means grace in Korean. Her mother said, "You are different, Eun-hye, and that is a good thing." The book shows that names from different cultures may be difficult to pronounce, but learning the meaning behind the name and trying to pronounce them gives a peek into a new culture. I identify with this book because my name, Madhavi, is from Indian origin.
Thank you everyone for joining us. That is all our titles for tonight. We're really happy you were able to join us. Thank you to our panelists for the tough job of choosing just 5 favorites for this session. And thanks to Georgia for helping out in the chat. I will be sending the full book list out to your email in just a few minutes. If you have any questions, please go ahead and feel free to post them in the chat now. But otherwise, we are all done. Thank you for coming. Our theme next month is Friends and Family, books that highlight all the ways we can be friends and family to each other. And our date will be Tuesday, May 4, also at 4 p.m. You can sign up at arapaholibraries.org at our virtual events tab. We hope to see you there. Thank you.